Good evening, all good hearts of you. Myself Anjana KV from PG Department of Commerce, Yakshitra Institute of Management Studies is hereby before you to host the fifth day of National FDP on AI in teaching and research in line with NEP. Without further ado, let me call upon Deepika C of First Become Finance for prayer.
जयति जय जय मां सरस्वती जयति वीणाधारिणी जगत्पाद्मासन माता जयन्ति शुभवरधारिणी जगन का कल्याण कर्मा तुम हो विघ्न विनाशिनी जगत का कल्याण कर्मा तुम हो विघ्न विनाशिनी जयति जय जय मां सरस्वती जयन्ति वीणा धारिणी.
Thank you, Deepika. For the official welcome address, let me invite Dr. Manoj M, Assistant Professor from the PG Department of Commerce. Sir, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, all. We are on the fifth day of National FDP on AI in teaching and research in line with NEP. The duty entrusted upon me is to welcome you all. First of all, I would like to wholeheartedly welcome our Honorable Chief Guest and Resource Person of the Day, Dr. Soni Kuriakos, Assistant Professor and Research Guide, Postgraduate and Research Department of Commerce, Nirmala College, Muvatupuzha. He is having more than 15 years of experience in business teaching, publishing, and academic mentoring. He is also serving as IQAC coordinator of Nirmala College, Muvatupuzha. I wholeheartedly welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Next, I would like to welcome Dr. Demia J, Assistant Professor and Section Head of Become Taxation, Postgraduate Department of Commerce, who is here to felicitate this gathering. I wholeheartedly welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Manoj.
Next, I would like to welcome Dr. Mikla Dani, HOD and Assistant Professor, PG Department of Commerce, and Chief Organizer of this FDP. I wholeheartedly welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Manoj, sir.
Now, I would like to welcome Ms. Reshma Yu, Assistant Professor, PG Department of Commerce, who will be proposing vote of thanks for this session. Welcome you, ma'am. Next, I would like to welcome all the participants who is joined for today's session. Once again, welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. To felicitate the gathering, let me call upon Dr. Ramya J, Assistant Professor and Section Head of Become Taxation, PG Department of Commerce, IMS. Ma'am, please.
Okay, thank you, Anjana. Respected guest speaker, management of IMS, distinguished participants across India, a very good evening to all. I'm delighted to extend a message to each of you to our online faculty development program centered around the integration of artificial intelligence in teaching research in alignment with the national education policy. In the rapidly evolving landscape of education, the incorporation of AI holds immense potential to revolutionize both teaching methodologies and research practice. As educators and scholars, it is imperative for us to explore and embrace the transformative power of AI to enhance the quality and effectiveness of education delivery and academic inquiry. The NEP serves as a guiding framework for the holistic transformation of the education sector in India. With its emphasis on innovation, technology, and inclusivity, the NEP underscores the importance of integrating cutting edge technologies like AI into educational ecosystem to foster creativity, critical thinking, and holistic development. Throughout this session, we aim to delve into the multifaceted application of AI in teaching research and how they resonate with the principles and objectives outlined in the NEP. We will explore how AI-driven tools and techniques can personalize learning experience, facilitate data-driven decision-making, and optimize research methodologies across diverse academic disciplines. In conclusion, let us embark on this enriching journey of exploration, innovation, and collaboration as we strive to create a more dynamic, inclusive, and future-ready educational ecosystem in alignment with the vision of national education policy. Today, we are eagerly waiting for the session from Dr. Soni Kuriakos, Assistant Professor, Nirmala College. Wish you all the best, sir. And once again, I wish everyone for a great session ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We have an eminent personality today who is very resourceful and updated in the field of research and teaching. I proudly welcome Dr. Soni Kuriakus, Assistant Professor from Nirmala College, to handle the session on learning pathways in higher education in NEP with Sustainable Development Goals linkages. Sir, the platform is all yours and welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Sanjana. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir, yes, you are.
Respected IQAC coordinator of Yuvashetra College, Ms. Matilda, other participants, distinguished participants of this online faculty development program. I do not know in what way the theme of today's session is related to the core theme of this FDP. I understand that this FDP is closely connected with the in the use of artificial intelligence in teaching and learning. But the topic allotted to me is not directly related to the core theme of this FDP, but a very relevant theme. The topic is flexible learning pathways in higher education. I will talk. I'll talk with a specific reference to national education policy and sustainable development goals linkage. So before moving to the core content of my lecture or my talk, we know that from the next academic year onwards, that is from 2024-25 academic year onwards, I understand that most of the participants are from Kerala. The Kerala is going to implement the 4-year undergraduate program, and some of the states in the country have already implemented the 4-year undergraduate program. For example, it started from the north. Jammu and Kashmir has implemented the 4-year undergraduate degree. Then Madhya Pradesh and our neighboring state Karnataka has implemented the 4-year undergraduate program. And we also know that this particular new academic structure with regard to graduation is the product of, is resulted from the National Education Policy document. If you read the National Education Policy document several times, you can understand that the most repeated word in the NEP document is outcome. I think 26 or 28 times outcome has been repeated. So outcome. The another very important word that you can see in the NEP document is flexible learning. Pathways. These are some of the terminologies that are repeated in the National Education Policy document 2020. And as I already mentioned, the Kerala Higher Education Council had come up with a very comprehensive framework for a 4-year undergraduate education in the state of Kerala. And after that, Calicut University, I understand that the Calicut University has come up with a regulation. And yesterday, Mahatma Gandhi University has come up with its regulation for 4-year undergraduate program. So when we talk about the 4-year undergraduate education, we know that it has got so many flexible pathways, and the system currently working in Indian universities and in Kerala, we know that it is CBCS system. The CBCS system in India, I think it started after 2005, by 2008 and all. Basically, it came because of the recommendations of the National Education Commission 2008. And the UGC also has come up with the CBCS regulation in 2008. When we talk about CBCS, in the academic structure of a CBCS itself, there is flexibility. So when we talk about the academic structure, traditionally, broadly, we can say that there are two types of academic structures. One is definitely the American system, and the other one is European system. So till 2008, till 2008, and we can also say that till 2024, we are following a European system, not American system. You might be knowing that America was also following the European system of education till 1860s. In 1862, Harvard University is the first university that introduced the flexibility and the continuous evaluation or formative evaluation in the academic structure. It was Harvard University in 1862, and after 100 years, by 1960 and 1970s, European countries also started following the American system. There is no need of two opinions on the fact that European system is the most traditional system of education. I mean, the academic structure. But in 1862, when Harvard introduced the new flexible system of education, then other American universities followed the Harvard system, and that is the credit system. That is the credit system. By 1970, European countries also followed the American system. Then we started the countries in Asia, especially in the subcontinent, they followed the American system only after 2000. I mean, after precisely more than 140 years. Then, and after 2008, when the Indian universities and the standalone institutions like IIMs and IITs started following CBS system. So then also we are not following the CBCS system in its full spirit. The only advantage that I could see after the implementation of a CBS system is that the students do not have much freedom. The only advantage is that the importance given to several courses in the program have been changed. Now we have course with the 3 credit and 4 credit. Previously, before the introduction of CBCS in a particular program, all the courses were having equal importance or equal weightage. So now, after the introduction of CBCS, that particular aspect has been changed. We know that we are unable to change the system due to several factors, maybe because of the current education system prevailing in the country and the workload related issues. There are so many issues, but at last, after the implementation of NEP, so we are moving towards a more flexible kind of system. So when Mahatma Gandhi University introduced the new regulation yesterday, I was reading the regulation. On the first page itself, it is written that based on the UGC framework and all, multiple entry exit options, and establish 3 broad pathways. 3-year UG degree, 4-year UG degree honors, and 4-year UG degree honors with research. Any issue? Are you able to listen? Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in that document also, there is a mentioning about pathways. So I wanted to clear at the beginning itself. I'm not in my lecture. I won't be talking about those pathways. I am talking about the flexible learning pathways that is mentioned in the NEP. That is somewhat connected to these pathways, but the meaning of pathways mentioned in the NEP and the pathways mentioned in the regulations are different, but it is somewhat related. Now I wanted to move to my presentation. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Hope you can see my slides.
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Yes, my slides are moving. Slides are moving.
Yes, sir. It is
Okay,
moving.
thank you. So before I would like to start with why the flexible learning pathways in higher education. See, the global GER in 2020 gross enrollment ratio. I mean, it is a ratio of the uh, students enrolled in higher education divided by uh, the students population in that particular age group. That means 16 to 22. So in 2020, it is 40 percentage. In 2000, it was only 19 percentage. There is a significant, massive explosion. I mean, improvement in the GR. I mean, 100 million to 40 million. This is very remarkable achievement in the area of higher education. GR from 19 percentage to 40 percentage. I'm talking about the global scenario, not the Indian scenario. We know that in India, the gross enrollment ratio, it is 27-28 percentage. There is a slight improvement in the GER according to the latest higher education survey report, which was released last week. In 2021-22, it was only 27 percentage. So compared to the global average, our India's gross enrollment ratio is very low. And if we compare our GER statistics with other developing nations like China or Brazil, similar kind of nations, you can see that there also their enrollment ratio is very high, something like more than 50 percentage. And in India, it is only 27 percentage. And when we compare this particular GER ratio of India with the GER ratio of the state, I mean, if we compare the scenario of Kerala and India, we are we are in a much better position compared to the national average. Our GER is more than 40 percentage. And when we compare with other states like Tamil Nadu, our GR is lesser. In Tamil Nadu, they have a better enrollment ratio because of various reasons. And I'm not going to talk about those issues. Definitely, you know that in Tamil Nadu, the shift system is there. So in a college, more than 7,000, 8,000 students are studying in two shifts. There are n number of reasons for Tamil Nadu's exceptional performance in GR. But India's performance compared to the global scenario is not that good. You might be knowing that fact. And if you analyze the improvements in the last 2 decades, you can see that the diversification has happened on a massive scale. Uh, of course, the fragmentation issue is there. In the case of India, the system is very complex. The rigidity is there. Those things are there. But but recently, after the 2020, 2020, not 2020, in 2017, there was a global education monitoring report, which that report was published by UNESCO. So the survey covered 76 countries in the world. And they have an interesting finding. The finding is that 20% of wealthiest people completed at least 4 years in higher education. Whereas it is only 1% in poorest people. A very, very interesting finding. And we need to look into this finding. So this particular statistics, this finding shed light on equity access in higher education, equity and access in higher education. This simply means that the wealthiest people could cover the entire 4 years of higher education and get a degree. And in the case of poorest people, only 1% of the students or people are spending 4 years in higher education. So that means our system has got some problem. So that is why this particular this concept has come, flexible learning pathways. So when we define flexible learning pathways, you can see n number of definitions in the UNESCO documents, and if you see the OECD documents, and if you see the National Education Policy. So if you see the documents from authentic regulatory bodies, you can see a number of documents. And if you study the literature, there are also related to higher education. You can see a number of definitions. But the crux is that flexible learning pathways means access to higher education. That means there should be flexibility in access to higher education. I mean, that is, there should be flexibility at the entry level. So when I see the the regulations of various universities in India, I mean, there is no flexibility. In order to enter into higher education, you need to pass +2. You need to pass +2. There is no flexibility. The rigidity is there. +2. You should pass +2. Then there should be flexibility in the progress through. I mean, after entering the first year of degree, before completing the program, there should be flexibility. And at the time of exit, at the time of completion, there should be flexibility. So this is the meaning of flexible learning pathways. So that is why I said in the documents, the pathways mentioned and the pathways addressing in this lecture are different. So I wanted to make it very clear. Then United Nations Education 2030 framework for action, SDG, for quality education. So there also they have given a definition, and this definition is completely in tune with the definition given in the literature. So there is no much variance in the definitions given by definition you can see in the literature and the definition given by UNESCO. Very comprehensive definition. If you can understand this definition, definitely you can properly understand the meaning of flexible learning pathways. Entry points and re-entry points at all ages and all educational levels, strengthen the links between formal and non-formal structure, and recognition, validation, and accreditation of knowledge, skills, and competencies acquired through non-formal and informal education. Very comprehensive definition. And I would like to inform that the entire presentation of today's today's talk is based on this definition. Entry points, re-entry points at all ages. You know that this particular option is not available in the current UGC 4-year curriculum framework. See, at all ages, then at all education levels. See, this is the flexibility UNESCO wants to introduce in the higher education. Then strengthen the links between formal and non-formal structures. You know that formal means simply the university kind of education, our education. Non-formal structures means if a student works in a workplace, he should get credit. Then there should be linkage between the credits earned by the workers at the workplace and the credits earned through university system, and it should be properly recognized. It should be properly validated through a proper system, and it should be accredited. So these are the things envisaged by UNESCO, and this has got a very strong connection with the sustainable development goals. You know that India is one of the signatories of sustainable education, sustainable development goals 2030. So you know that the National Education Policy document, that particular document is based on 2-3 other important things, and one of that important things is definitely the sustainable development goals. It is mentioned in the first 2-3 paragraphs of the National Education Policy. So I think not it is sure that we are one of the signatories of sustainable development goals 2030. So we need to fulfill our obligation. So that is why it is incorporated in the National Education Policy. Now it is incorporated in the regulations of 4-year undergraduate curriculum. Now it is again incorporated in the state level regulations of the universities. Now, what is flexible learning pathways? And I'm taking a definition from the literature. Systems and processes that accommodate all qualification, articulations, and credit transfers at a national level. Now, it is imperative to make a difference between FLP and LLL, because these terms are used interchangeably. Flexible learning pathways, and you know that LLL is lifelong learning. In the case of FLP, flexible learning pathways, formal qualification leading to job market, it will be there. But in LLL, it is not compulsory that there should be a certificate, or it will lead to a job. The similarity is that at all ages, learning can happen, and it can happen under diverse context also. This is a similarity. The only difference is in triple L, it may not lead to a certificate or job market. My slides are moving.
Yes, sir.
No, in the beginning itself, I have mentioned three kinds of flexibility. There is flexibility at the entry level, flexibility during the progress stage, and flexibility at the exit stage. That means entry, progression, and exit. So getting into the pathways for getting into higher education. So alternative entry for first entry, but also re-entry. So unfortunately in India, the possibility for, the alternative entry strategies are very limited, or we can say nil. Only if you pass the +2, you will get admission, you will get into a formal education system. Then what is getting through? That means pathways getting through higher education. Progression, transferability, and flexible study modes. I'll come to these points at the later stage, but definitely you need to understand in the current regulations of the UGC and the regulations of the state universities and central universities. You can see that the transferability provision is there. You can move to other institutions after in the NEP structure, in the 4-year undergraduate curriculum structure itself, that is there. After the first year you will get the certificate, second year diploma, third year degree, after fourth year you will get degree honors. So the transferability provision is there in the regulations and in the framework, it is there. And getting out, pathways for getting out of HE, graduation and preparation for labor market. So FLP ecosystem consisting of these three things: flexibility in the case of entry, flexibility in the progression, flexibility at the time of exit. So we will see some of the global scenarios with regard to entry. See, I have taken three countries for comparison. In the case of Chile, we know that it's a Latin American country. Their open entry vocational training centers are there. And in the vocational training centers, after completing the training, definitely it must be related to job, no doubt in that. And if they clear those examinations or evaluations at the vocational training centers, they will get credit. So they'll get credit, and they can after attaining that credit, they can enter into higher education. That particular provision is there. And in some universities, preparatory programs are there. No need to complete the secondary education. Through preparatory programs, they can enter into higher education. Now then, if you have labor competency, Chile has proper system for recognizing that. And if the labor competency is recognized, then they'll get credits. And by earning their credits, they can enter into higher education. And if in the case of United Kingdom, open entry at the university level, then there is an accreditation agency. So they will recognize or they'll give credit. There's a separate agency. So by earning credit, they can enter into higher education. Then, of course, the preparatory programs are there. In United Kingdom, there is something called the foundational year. So in the foundational year, there's something called the foundational degree also. So after earning that foundation degree, they can join for formal degree. And in the case of Finland, open entry courses are there. Then for recognizing their already existing learning, they have the institutional level mechanism at all institutions, all at the university level. And the preparatory programs are there at upper secondary level. See, compared to compared to India, in India we do not have this much flexibility at entry level. And in the case of open universities, there are certain provisions, but definitely in other universities, I mean in conventional universities, this particular in flexibility is not there. So definitely after completing the 10th class, definitely some students may not be able to join +2. They may go they may go for some work. And if their prior learning are accredited through an agency, or there is an institutional level mechanism for recognizing their prior learning. I mean, RPL means recognition of a prior learning. Or if a system existing for recognizing the labor competency of people, so it can be used as a mechanism for entering into higher education. So definitely in India, these things will come in the coming years. Maybe in next 5 years, the entry level flexibility, more entry level flexibility will come. And when we analyze the, I mean, getting through progression, articulation pathways, I mean, transfer programs, credit accumulation and transfer. See, in all these countries, there is a mechanism for accumulating credit and transferring credit. The students have the option or the mechanism to deposit their credit. I mean, their learning. You know that credit is the I mean the numerical expression in order to measure the student experiences. Student experiences. We know that in India, credit means 15 teaching hours. 15 teaching hours. But in some countries, credit are measured in terms of student learning hours. For example, in Europe, the credit is measured in terms of student learning hours. But in India, it is teaching hours. So credit accumulation and transfer. This is must for proper in order to transfer students from one college to another or one program to another program. So that system should be there. Then flexible delivery modes, open and distance learning, flexibility in the pace of study. So you know that currently we cannot complete the degree in 2 years or 1 year. But in the current regulation, N-1 semester option is there. A student can complete the degree in 2.5 years. So those kind of flexibility, all these things come under in progression. Then flexibility in curriculum, I mean extended curriculum framework. Then institutional level electives and choice based. I mean the progression in the context of flexible learning pathways, meaning articulation pathways, flexible delivery modes, and flexibility in curriculum. Now we can see what is happening around the world, a cross-country experience. In Chile, again, the credit transfer is there. Between the universities, credit transfer is there. And at institution level, case-by-case transfer is there. Pace of the study can be increased through online courses at HCI level. That means there is no national level mechanism. Something like we have SWAYAM portal is there, but Chile does not have a system like, does not have institutional level mechanism. Sorry, country level or national level mechanism. Institutional level mechanism is there. And in the case of transfer also, Chile does not have that much flexibility. And if you take the case of Finland or UK, they have European credit and transfer system. ECTS is there, like our ABC. In India, we have ABC. But in Finland, long back, they have introduced the European credit transfer system. In America, also, they have two credit transfer system. And in Finland and UK, in European Union, they have a common credit transfer system. And I understand that at a country level also, they have institutional level mechanism. Now, with regard to transfer, a national level system is there, and the pace of studies can be increased only through MOOCs and all. There also they do not have a national level system like SOYM. In the case of South Africa, they also have a system like our ABC, systematic and a specific credit transfer system is there, and they have national level mechanism, credit accumulation and transfer, and the pace of the study they can increase at the HA level only. There is no policy from a regulator. Then now we come to exit. Exit in the case of Chile, no national policy. In UK, they have something called a sandwich degree. Sandwich degree, that means 1 year placement in relevant industry. Something like on-the-job trainings. The last year, students will be placed in an industry, so they will be working, and for that working hours, they'll get credit. So they have exceeded. So it's a kind of flexibility. Definitely, it's a kind of flexibility. In Finland, they also have a national policy. That means studification of work. So when they do internship in an industry, at the final year, 4th year, so they'll get credit. So at the exit level, in the case of India, we do not have such a flexibility at the exit level. But in UK, in Finland, they have national level policy with regard to exit. And now I'm coming to the end of my presentation. The entire things are listed here. Why flexible learning pathways? You in the first slide itself, I have mentioned that there's an issue of equity and access. So the survey among 76 countries revealed that rich people are completing degree. The probability of completing the degree among rich people are more compared to the probability of completing degree among the poor people. I forgot to mention another two things. There is something called the accelerated degree and the extended degree. Accelerated degree and extended degree. See, it is again a flexibility, and it has been introduced in the regulation also. In the case of accelerated degree, it simply means that you can complete the degree in 3 year or 2 year time. In UK, that flexibility is there. Accelerated degree is there. But the data from UK shows that students are not preferring accelerated degree. They have introduced accelerated degree almost 10 years back, like our N-1 semester system. But students are not preferring that N-1 system. The one of the reasons I could identify is that if a student completes a degree in 2-year period or in 3-year period or in 4-year period time, he or she has to pay the same fee. The 4-year fee the students have to remit. That might be hindering students from engaging in accelerated degree programs. And extended degree means the students will get more time to complete the degree program, and that particular provision has been included in the UGC curriculum framework also. I think the 7-year period is there. But flexible learning pathways means the student should get unlimited time to complete the degree. That means that is triple L, lifelong learning. Lifelong learning, triple L. But unfortunately, we are currently under Indian scenario, we are unable to provide those kind of things. And if you give extended degree kind of thing, nowadays, to some extent, higher education is a social responsibility. Means within 3 years, the student will be completing the degree and he can go for job or he can progress to higher education. or any other mode. But when we provide the extended degree kind of a provision, this will become a personal responsibility. Suppose that a student got married and she is unable to complete the degree, and after some time she can rejoin. So then it will become a personal responsibility. So there are some research going on that particular issue. I mean, the philosophy of whether higher education is social responsibility or a personal responsibility. So that issue is there. And flexible learning pathways are provided. Definitely the dropout rates will come down. Then more students will complete the degree. And definitely the widened participation in higher education. That means more people will join higher education. The gross enrollment ratio will increase. And some arguments are against this particular, particular philosophy. See, in the case of India, on the basis of the latest report tabled in the parliament, the dropout rates in higher education in India is low compared to the dropout rates in higher education compared to other countries. It is less than 2% or 3%. But definitely the dropout rate in primary education is alarming in the case of India. But in the case of higher education, as per the reports tabled by the higher education ministers, the dropout rates in higher education is low in the case of India. But definitely, flexible learning pathways will again reduce the dropout rates. Then, equity in progression of studies. Then, labor market entry and career. These are some of the outcomes of flexible learning pathways. So, there is no need of two opinion in the fact that definitely the Indian government will introduce flexible learning opportunities and pathways at all level. Already they have started implementing. You must have seen that now the distinction between formal education and informal education has come down massively. The vocational education and university education should be treated alike. You must have seen the National Predictive Framework document. See, in order to implement flexible learning pathways in its full spirit, or in order to implement the NEP in its full spirit, three things are must. Three things are prerequisites for the implementation of NEP in its true spirit. One is definitely the national policy on recognition of prior learning. This is must. And we understand that the government of India and the Ministry of Education is in the process of developing procedures and the mechanism for a recognition of prior learning. And if the prior learning are recognized through proper credits and validated through a accredited agency, definitely more people will come to higher education. So a national policy is required. And the another thing is a national level policy for credited transfer is required. And when we talk about the CBC system, and we have mentioned in the initial stage of our discussion that we could not implement the CBC system in its full spirit. We all know that. Though we have open course in our academic structure these days, we know that it is not the choice of the student. It is not the choice of student. Why we are unable to implement the CBCS system in its spirit? The reason is that we do not have a national level policy for flexible learning. Now the government has introduced ABC. The government is doing all in a they are very planned. See the order. They have introduced the NEP. Then National Credit Framework has come. Then ABC has come. So then quality descriptors have come. National Qualification Framework has come. So these are the prior requirements for implementing national education policy or flexible learning pathways, or in order to meet our obligation under SDG, Sustainable Development Goals 2030. So now all these prerequisites have been implemented. Now some more things are required. We need to have a policy on lifelong learning. And I understand that all these policy documents are under preparation. Within 1 year or 1 year or 2 year time, these things will come. And the student should there should be a policy on information and guidance to students. And we know that after debating on the current regulations of UGC and universities in Kerala and other states, there are n number of provisions in the regulation, but students may not be knowing this. We know that the Karnataka, the next year is fourth year of their degree. Karnataka fourth year of NEP based 4 year degree. But based on a survey conducted in Karnataka, the survey reveals that students do not know the provisions in the 4 year degree. They are doing their degree just like a 3 year degree. They do not know the pathways. They do not have proper advices. And you know that this year Delhi University has implemented the 4 year degree. So there also in the first year, there are n number of common courses compared to the previous 3 year degree curriculum. The importance of common courses have increased in the new curriculum. I'm not talking about the language courses, but the teachers are unable to deliver the content prescribed in the syllabus. The students in the Delhi University complaining that most of their the hours in the first year degree classes are free. The teachers are giving YouTube videos and other notes because they are not well versed in those subjects. Those subjects are newly introduced, and the teachers are saying when in the second year, when you reach the second year, there will be more papers on your discipline area. And in the case of transferability, also students are facing problem because students have to move to one college to another college for studying a particular course. So those things are prevailing in Delhi. So we need to have a policy on information and guidance to students because students are the most important stakeholders of higher education. So we need to have a policy on that. So 75% we have completed. We got a credit transfer policy like ABC is there. We have national qualification framework is there. National credit framework is there. We have brought all these things. Now the recognition of prior learning, very important. Then a policy on information and guidance to students. These are very important things. And with this slide, I complete, and it's time for discussion and deliberations. I'm happy to answer your queries from my limited knowledge. Thank you.
Participants, the platform is open to you for any discussions. If you have any queries, you can just ask.
Dear faculties, if you have any queries, please clarify.
Otherwise, you can post.
It's time for an open discussion. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. It was indeed a great session with much more case studies and examples. It really opened our vision towards sustainable development goals in NEP. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. For the official vote of thanks, let me invite Ms. Reshma Yu, Assistant Professor from Beach Department of Commerce. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Anjana ma'am. I'm here with a heart filled of gratitude for this remarkable opportunity to express my gratitude. First and foremost, I extend my deepest gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Soni Kuriakos, Assistant Professor, Nirmala College, for delivering such an enlightening and thought-provoking session. Real-life examples made the session more interesting. Thank you, sir. Next, I thank Dr. Remya J, Section Head of BCom Taxation, for delivering great insights to today's program. Thank you, ma'am. Now, I thank our beloved head of the department, Dr. Matilda Dani, for her continuous support and guidance. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Reshma ma'am.
Now I thank Dr. Manoj M for the warmest welcome and Deepika C for the pleasing prayer. Thank you both. Now I thank Ms. Anjana KV for the enthusiastic master of ceremony. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now I extend my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you for gracing with us to today's program. Your support and participation has truly made today's session a success. Let's carry the lessons learned today forward and continue to work together towards a brighter future in education. Thank you once again for being part of the memorable event. Once again, thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all, my dear participants. Yes, sir.
So thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, thank you.
Dear participants, our next FDP will be on Monday, 4th of March, at sharp 7 p.m. Thank you all. Thank you so much.